Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I begin in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah and His blessings. I wanted to answer the question, I love Allah, I'm sorry, I love God, but do I have to love Allah? Okay. I wanted to answer this question. So, as you might imagine, this is a trick question because in some of the previous talks we have already mentioned that Allah is the Arabic word for God, which is also used by Arabic speaking Jews and Christians. Therefore, Allah is the same God as the God of the Jews and Christians, and Allah is none other than the God of Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob and the descendants and Moses and Jesus and Muhammad, peace be upon all of them. So, my point being, once it has become clear to you that Allah is the same God, then the barrier of language should not exist. It should not create any kind of friction, any kind of aversion, any kind of um, uh, anything against the word Allah or the Arabic language. And this is very important, because what happens is constantly when we hear in the news, especially the terrorists and others like them, who misuse this phrase, Allahu Akbar, then this starts to build and build and build fear and suspicion and animosity towards anything where the word Allah is involved, and it creates animosity towards the Arabic language. Okay? And so it is very, very important for us to understand, look, language is language. Language is a means of communication. Okay? There are good words, there are evil words. There is good language, there is foul language. All right? So we cannot hate a language. It makes no sense, because you run into the danger of limiting your faith. Because what is the meaning of saying, may God be praised, I love God? Okay, as long as it's in the English language. If I say the same things, Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest, Uhibbullah, I love Allah, is there any difference? I mean, are we saying, okay, as long as it's in the English language, I love God. As soon as it's in the Arabic language, I do something else to God. It makes no sense. Because, look, these barriers of language in faith will only say something about ourselves. They will only limit our faith, and they will only limit our good character. Okay, if we are truly believers, if we are truly people of faith, then these barriers of language will not exist. I love God, I love Allah, I believe that God is the greatest in any language. Okay, the language should not matter. And this is something that we must do ourselves, so that we are sure that our hearts are clean, our hearts are pure, that we remove hatred from our hearts. And this will lead us to true belief and lead us to the right path. I want to give you two examples to further clarify this point about language, and also about what the terrorists are doing and how we can separate the good from the evil. Two examples. One example is, let us look at what the terrorists do. What do? They say Allahu Akbar while they are doing whatever, their beheadings or whatever it is they're doing, their bombings, their suicide bombings, whatever it is, okay? So let us consider. What are they doing? What are they doing exactly? Let's break it down. They are mixing something good, Allahu Akbar. Let us agree, God is the greatest. This is something good. This is pure, okay? This is pure. There is nothing wrong with saying Allahu Akbar. It means God is the greatest, okay? They are mixing something good with something evil. The act of killing unjustly, evil, no doubt about it. Even if you're saying something good while committing something evil, will not transform your evil deed into a good deed. Absolutely not. Okay? So let us make that separation, let us make that distinction. And even when we hear this contradiction in the news, let us make sure that our hearts are clean. Okay? This is one example. The second example I would like to give is Shaitan himself, Satan. In the Quran, it is mentioned that Satan says, Inni akhafullaha rabbal alameen. Indeed, I fear Allah, the God and Master of all of creation. Where's the contradiction here? Let's think about this. Who is saying it? Satan is saying it. Satan is who? Satan is the one who is the accursed, the outcast. He is saying, Inni akhafullaha rabbal alameen. Indeed, I fear Allah, the God and Master of all of creation. This is a good thing, okay? What he himself is evil, but in this case, he has said something good, okay? He has said something good. So in this phrase, Inni akhafullaha rabbal alameen, there is no evil in this phrase. Even if Satan said it, okay, this phrase is completely good. Indeed, I fear Allah, the God and Master of all of creation. Yes. What is the context here? Okay, in the complete ayah, in the complete verse, Satan is saying to man, disbelieve. Okay? He is saying to man, disbelieve. He invites him to disbelief, and then, once man disbelieves, then he says, Inni bari'um mink. He says, indeed, I am disassociated from you. Indeed, I am disassociated from you. Inni akhafullaha rabbal alameen. Indeed, I fear Allah, the God of, and Master of all of creation. First, he invites people to disbelieve. He misleads people while knowing the truth. Okay? That is what makes him evil. Okay? He himself, he knows that he is going into the hellfire. All right? He knows that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, anybody who follows Satan will be the same destination for them. They will also go into the hellfire with him. So what does Satan have to lose? He has nothing to lose. All right? So his purpose, his job is to mislead as many people as possible. So in this case, what he is doing is he's saying, oh man, disbelieve. Okay? Disbelieve. And join me in the hellfire. All right? He has nothing to lose. And then, once the people obey him, then what does he say? Then he says, I have nothing to do with you. I am disassociated from you. Indeed, I fear Allah, the God and Master of all of creation. So, in that last phrase, is everything good? Let us make a clear distinction. Let us separate the good from the evil. Okay? This is the point. Once again, Allahu Akbar is a phrase which commonly for the non-Muslim world is misused and misunderstood. Let us understand it clearly. It is completely good. Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you so much for joining me. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah and His blessings.